Welcome back everyone. Another important video on request, a one-shot session, Morning Star Workbook Solutions, The Girl Who Can, written by Ama Ata Aidoo. Do check the pinned comment section for all important video links related to your syllabus, and please subscribe to our channel and also tap the bell icon. The first extract is there on the screen, but before starting today's discussion, I would like to point out one thing. The length of the answer is going to vary depending on the questions available. If there are multiple subparts, then it is not possible for me to fit the answer within 3 lines. So you will have to study with an open mind. These are reference materials. Take help from these reference materials and frame your own answers according to your requirements. This is a request. Question 1. Who is referred to as I in the extract? The word I refers to the protagonist and narrator of The Girl Who Can, Adjoa, a 7-year-old girl from Heshotzi, Ghana. I have underlined the keywords and expressions. Protagonist, narrator, Adjoa, 7-year-old girl from Ghana. So even if you write Adjoa, a 7-year-old girl, your answer is correct. These are reference materials. I have tried to help you as much as possible. I have mentioned all points for you to take help from. Now, according to her, what was her grandmother's problem? Her grandmother's problems were different from the problem faced by Adjoa. So what was the problem? Her grandmother, Nana, perhaps considered hunger, starvation, crop failure and other hardships faced by most Africans for their survival as problem. The adult problems faced by the adults. Being an adult, living in an all-women household as a matriarch in rural Ghana was also another problem, was also problematic. This is the first answer. Now the second question, what was her problem at the age of 7? Her problem, the narrator's problem. Who is the narrator? It's Adjoa. Why is it a serious problem? 2 subparts, change paragraphs for each subpart. Self-expression was Adjoa's problem at the age of 7. She did not have the proper language to express her thoughts, ideas and feelings to others, especially the adults. She could not simply communicate effectively with the adults. Hence, self-expression was her specific problem, and it was a serious problem. Why? Though curious, Adjoa is unable to effectively communicate, and this leads to a sense of number 1, confusion, number 2, disconnect, and number 3, isolation. She hesitates also. She hesitates and she is fearful and fears negative reactions from adults. Hence, it is serious. She is unable to express herself openly. This is indeed a very serious problem. A compact answer. This is how you must write your answers, highlighting all keywords and expressions. Now quickly moving on to question number 3. We have a lot of questions to cover. As described after this extract, how would Nana react when she would say something? When Adjoa would say something, Nana would stop her work, mouth open, stare at Adjoa for a very long time. She would ask the girl never to repeat what she said or would immediately burst out laughing and laughing till tears rolled down her cheeks. Thus, she did not take her seriously, often finding her queries, her questions, childish. This is how Nana would react whenever Adjoa would say something, trying to figure out the world around her. At such a tender age, she is just a 7-year-old girl. So again, a specific answer. This is there in your textbook, so read the textbook thoroughly. How would Nana involve other people in her reaction? Nana would repeat Adjoa's words to some of her acquaintances. Here, other grown-ups. They would also find the girls' ideas or thoughts funny and laugh and scream with tears running down their cheeks. Nana would make her a butt of jokes with others. They would all make fun of Adjoa. So girls, they would also find the girls, GIRL''S. Ideas or thoughts funny and laugh and scream with tears. Butt of jokes. Explain briefly the significance of the girl child being the narrator of the story. The Girl Who Can is Adjoa's story, and her interactions with her mother and grandmother constitute the generational conflict, the generation gap. She presents a unique view of the world, a child seen through a child's eyes. She presents a unique view of the world around her in simple language. We get a first-hand knowledge of her doubts, dilemmas, struggles as a girl from Ghana. The direct perspective, first-hand knowledge highlights the clash between social stereotypes and childhood innocence, questioning the feasibility of societal norms, questioning the feasibility. What is the meaning? The significance, the justification of societal norms and regulations, rules and regulations. The central conflict revolving around her legs, symbolically revolving around gender stereotypes. This is revealed in the story as it is told through the eyes of Adjoa, a child, a girl child. This is the end of the first extract. Now the second extract is there on the screen. Why does the narrator want to tell her grandmother and mother not to worry? What does it suggest about the narrator? Adjoa wants to tell her grandmother and her mother not to worry because they are her two favorite people, number one. Number two, they are frequently talking about Adjoa's thin legs. Number three, her legs ably support her movements, so she does not want them to fight over them unnecessarily. She knows that they are unnecessarily fighting over the legs. She wants them not to worry because they are perfectly fine and capable of allowing her to move freely from one place to another. The legs support her movements properly. And what does this suggest? This suggests the absurdity of the issue. Why are the adults fighting over my legs? This is weird. This is absurd. Grandmother constantly cribs, while Adjoa is mature enough to realize the insignificance of the matter. No meaning at all. Foolishness. But she cannot openly express it. Otherwise, the adults will again advise her not to repeat a particular thing, or they would laugh at her. Who are the narrator's two favorite people? What are their views on this issue? Adjoa's grandmother Nana and her mother Mami are Adjoa's two favorite people. And what are their views on this issue? Have changed paragraphs. First, Nana's viewpoint. According to Nana, Adjoa's legs are too thin and also too long. Quoted from the text. For a woman must have legs with meat on them, with good calves, capable of supporting solid hips so that they can bear children. So that she can bear children, because a woman is in singular. So I'll just make a minor rectification over here. So that she can bear children. Perfect. Now, what are their views? Now it's time for me to focus on mother's views. Adjoa's mother tries to defend Adjoa's legs by pointing out that some people do not have legs at all. Adjoa has two legs. What is the need of this fuss, this confusion, disagreement? Who are they who would laugh at her and why? Nana, other grown-ups and also perhaps her mother would laugh at her. Her mother would never laugh at her, but as a whole, in totality, all the adults, all the grown-ups would laugh at her. Adjoa's notion, and why? Adjoa's notion of her legs, ably suited to facilitate her movements and quite similar to those of other girls of her age, is different from an adult's, her grandmother's viewpoint, which is shaped by gender stereotypes. So her notion of her legs different from that of her grandmother. Hence, if she tries to stop the discussions and disagreements over her legs, adults will find it funny and laugh. Next question. Why does the narrator feel that her grandmother and mother would have been discussing her legs ever since she was born? What does it suggest about the two women? The way Nana raises this issue in the household and mother tries to defend Adjoa, leading to discussions and disagreements, makes the girl feel that they would have been discussing her legs ever since her birth. These fights take place frequently and constitute the central conflict. And what does it suggest about the two women? Nana holds conventional beliefs about gender roles and societal expectations. Her mother, on the other hand, is submissive. She is passive, less vocal, yet supportive of Adjoa. This is a specific answer. Now, which figure of speech is used in the last two lines of the extract? Explain briefly the meaning of these lines. The figure of speech used in the last two lines of the extract is juxtaposition, placing two contrasting ideas side by side. She presents a contrast between her mother's womb, which she describes as the land of sweet, soft silence, and the outside world, which is a place of noise and worldly knowledge, comprehension. It displays the contrasting experience of peace and noise. Adjoa's first cause of concern after her birth in this world is her legs, and therefore she makes this comparison. Extract 3. Why could the narrator feel that her mother was weeping from inside? Adjoa could feel that her mother was weeping from inside because, number 1, she was a perceptive child. She could see, she could understand very well that her mother was not feeling well, and she could make out from her mother's silent tears. Why could the narrator, extract number 3 now, why could the narrator feel that her mother was weeping from inside? Adjoa could feel that her mother was weeping from inside because she was a perceptive child. She was very understanding, and she could make out her mother's silent tears from her voice. Important. Her bond with her mother did not depend upon predetermined social norms, and therefore she could understand her mother very well. And the voice showed that mother was not feeling good. Why could her grandmother not hear her mother's inside weeping? Unlike Adjoa, grandmother had a traditional mindset, and the predetermined social norms affected her understanding. Grandmother was authoritative, and her traditional mindset made her unaware of her daughter's feelings. Reason number 1. Her own struggles in an all-women rural household of Ghana made her oblivious to her daughter's inner struggles. She was only thinking of Adjoa's legs. That was a cause of concern for grandmother. She had her own hardships, and therefore she was only thinking of Adjoa's legs. Next, the narrator feels that her grandmother would not have stopped even if she had heard her mother's inside weeping. Why? What does it suggest about grandmother and mother, the relationship? Grandmother's social conditioning, her belief in gender stereotypes, also her ignorance due to her lack of education, all these factors have created such a restrictive impact on her mindset that she overlooks the sorrow and struggles of mommy, sorrows and struggles of mother. What are the factors? Number 1, social conditioning. Number 2, belief in gender stereotypes. Number 3, ignorance due to her lack of education. And therefore, a restrictive impact on her mindset. She desperately tries to impose upon mommy that her criticism and concern for H.W.'s thin and long legs are correct. So, these are the different reasons. And these factors determine the relationship between grandmother and mother. Next. Why does the narrator say that except for talking about her legs, her grandmother is a good grown-up? What does it suggest about the narrator? Now, H.W. is an affectionate and loving child. Growing up in an all-women household, she is emotionally close to Nana. She is close to mother, she is close to Nana also. In this way, she is a good grown-up. Nana is a good grown-up. But her constant cribbing about H.W.'s too thin long legs makes her a bad grown-up. This suggests that H.W. dislikes unnecessary fuss over her legs, number 1. Number 2, she is puzzled to find Nana criticize her at one point of time and at the same time raise her with motherly love. H.W.'s childhood innocence and insightful nature are both revealed over here. Although she is innocent, she is trying to figure out things for herself. She is also mature enough to realize that after all, Nana is a good woman. Why is she constantly cribbing? This is not a good trait. This is not a trait of a good grown-up. A good grown-up must be matured enough. But whenever grandmother cribs, she does not seem to be a mature woman. Hence, both good and perhaps a little bad. What would the grandmother be discussing when she would bring in the narrator's father in her discussion? Narrator is H.W. and grandmother would have been discussing H.W.'s legs and the disadvantages of not having meat on them and solid hips when she would bring in the narrator's father in the discussion. And what does she admit about the man? Man? H.W.'s father. Nana viewed the man as an undesirable match for her daughter. She seemed to connect the appearance of H.W.'s legs to her father's characteristics, father's physical characteristics, the genes inherited from father. He might not have been a favorable choice and Nana was disappointed. Next. State important characteristic traits of the narrator as revealed in this extract. H.W. is a sensitive, observant and perceptive girl. Learn the character sketch. She loves both mother and grandmother, but grandmother's traditional mindset and restrictive ideology puzzle her. So, she is 7 years old but is insightful and mature. The intergenerational conflict makes it difficult for her to figure out things. We have grandmother's traditional mindset and restrictive ideology that puzzles her. Next, extract number 4. Why would the grandmother thank God? H.W.'s grandmother would thank God because even after marrying an undesirable man like H.W.'s father, her daughter, that is Kaya, has been able to bear a child with only one problem. Perhaps there could have been many problems. Perhaps mother would be unable to bear children. But after all, that has not happened. Mother has given birth to H.W. with just one problem: thin legs. Therefore, she wants to thank God. H.W.'s spindly legs that are too long for a woman and to be too thin to be of any use is the only cause of concern and nothing else. Therefore, they must be grateful to God. At least mother has given birth to H.W., therefore fulfilled her duty as a woman. And H.W., despite carrying the genes, despite inheriting the genes of father, has just one problem: thin legs. What does it suggest about her? This suggests that she disapproves of her daughter's choice, is disappointed, and feels that H.W.'s thin legs are inherited from her father. But she is relieved also at the same time that at least mommy has fulfilled her role of bearing children as a woman. H.W. otherwise is a good girl, unlike father. She dislikes father, but she doesn't dislike H.W. She loves H.W. She likes H.W. Next, what makes the narrator question her own viewpoint that her grandmother is a good grown-up? H.W. wonders. There is confusion in her mind. H.W. wonders why Nana, otherwise loving and caring, constantly cribs about her legs. Nana would also comment on her father sarcastically, ignoring the feelings of mommy, the shortcomings of Nana. This makes H.W. question her own viewpoint that Nana is a good grown-up. Is she a good grown-up? If she is a good grown-up, then why is she behaving in this way? What does the narrator finally think about her grandmother? She finally states that she really likes Nana, except for her criticism of H.W.'s thin, long legs. Nana would always speak about H.W.'s legs as a determining factor in childbearing. She did not like this. Describe the feelings of H.W.'s mother when she hears about her husband. Automatically, she feels sad, disappointed when she hears about her husband. She becomes more submissive. She is a passive character, subdued character, but she becomes more submissive, and as the conversation progresses, gradually, even her little courage finishes. Emotionally, she becomes heartbroken. Emotionally, she is not in a good state of mind. What kind of relationship existed between H.W.'s mother and grandmother? Nana's traditional views on female beauty and utility make her overlook mommy's feelings and inner struggles. Therefore, there is a distance between the two women. Nana dominates while mommy is subdued. This kind of relationship is there between the two. Next, why does the grandmother hush up about H.W.'s father? Nana is critical of H.W.'s father, disapproves of her daughter's choice, but she hushes up about father because she does not want H.W. to hear about this. She is too young to get involved in family complexities. What does it reveal about her relationship with H.W.? This shows that Nana does not want to hurt the feelings of her granddaughter. Though unhappy about her thin legs, she loves H.W. And H.W. also loves grandmother. Describe briefly how H.W.'s grandmother serves as an agent of patriarchy. Though H.W.'s grandmother is the head of an all-women household, her views are restricted by patriarchy. Very important. She serves as an agent how? She holds firm beliefs about what constitutes ideal womanhood, including physical characteristics like the structure of legs, which she associates with childbearing capabilities. She thinks that education is unimportant for women. Their worth is defined by their ability to bear children only. And in doing so, she objectifies her own granddaughter. She has patriarchal views on beauty and utility. According to her, women must reproduce only and nothing else. Education is unimportant. And when she criticizes H.W.'s thin legs, she is objectifying her, and due to these reasons, she serves as an agent of patriarchy in the story. But as the story progresses, she undergoes a change. Extract 5 now. How does the narrator describe her friend's legs? In the eyes of H.W., all her friends have got legs that look like legs only. What is she not sure about? She is not sure if the legs of her friends have got meat on them to support solid hips to ensure childbearing. The narrator says that she does not know how far is 5 kilometers. What does it suggest about her? Who are they who complain about the distance? Joa is not affected by the long distance between her village and the small town, though her thin and long legs, though her legs are thin and long, just a little bit of correction, she crosses the distance without feeling tired. She is athletic, physically sturdy, and reaching school is important for her. And older boys and girls complain about the distance. Number 3. The narrator says that she does not feel uncomfortable while walking 5 kilometers to school and back. What is suggested by the narrator's statement? How does she prove it at the end of this story? This shows the tenacity, the resilience, the strength of Joa, and she realizes the importance of education in her life. She seeks knowledge, and thus the long distance of 5 kilometers is trivial, insignificant. She overcomes the obstacle of long journey to her school and back to equip herself with the powerful tool of education to liberate herself. The theme, power of education. Very important. And how does she prove it? She not only wins all the races, symbolic of her resilience, but also overcomes the obstacles of gender stereotypes and patriarchy, and brings about a change in her home also, especially in grandmother. Thus, school plays a vital role, and Joa's love for school is significant. She does not hesitate. She crosses, she covers the long distance happily. Why? Because school is important for her. Education is important for her. She is mature enough, insightful enough to realize this. Explain 2 characteristic traits of the narrator that emerge from this extract. Joa's spirit of determination, number 1, to succeed in life is revealed. She undertakes a long journey regularly to reach school, symbolizing her positivity and drive, singular drive. Next point, she is puzzled to see her legs as the most important factor in the process of childbearing. Legs. She is athletic. Her legs support her movements ably. And her friends also have similar legs. So why worry about the legs? They are perfectly fine. Explain briefly the change in the attitude of the narrator's grandmother by the end of the story. Nana takes care of Joa's school uniform. Dear students, the length of these answers are perfect. You must realize that I have written the answers and my handwriting is such that it takes a lot of space. If the question is of 2 lines in the workbook, then I find that according to my handwriting, as per my handwriting, it comes down to 4.5 lines. So automatically the length is going to be adjusted. These are not lengthy answers. I have given all the points so that you can use them wherever necessary. So as per your requirements, you may use these points. Nana takes care of Joa's school uniform, symbolizing her desire to help Joa in the sphere of education. When Nana wins, she carries her gleaming cup on her back happily. She shows it to Mommy. The trophy becomes a symbol for other futures available to women that expand the horizon of their existence beyond motherhood. Thus, she changes. And what brought about this change? Joa wins the cup for the best all-round junior athlete despite being a girl and having 2 thin legs. The upliftment and liberation of Joa becomes an intergenerational liberation as seen in Nana. So winning the cup, going to school, the race, all these things are important. The change had already started since the time Joa was selected, but finally her winning the cup transforms Nana completely. Extract 6. Why would Nana laugh? Why does she allow H.W.LONGFELLOW to go to school? Nana dominates her daughter and tries to dismiss Kaya's views on education and the impact it would have on H.W.LONGFELLOW's life with laughter. Therefore, she would laugh. And why did she allow? She allowed H.W.LONGFELLOW to go to school only as a good riddance, as she was useless with her thin long legs, and also because of Mommy's insistence. So probable 2 reasons. Why does H.W.LONGFELLOW not tell anybody at home about her running on the sports field and winning all the competitions? She did not attach much importance, much significance to this. For H.W.LONGFELLOW, running appears to be no big deal until she is selected to run for the junior section of a school in the district. So she does not tell anybody about her winnings. And why does she say this time? Selection for the district level is an achievement. Thus, this time it was different. How does H.W.LONGFELLOW's mother and grandmother react to the news about her being selected as a runner for the district? H.W.LOW'S mother and grandmother did not believe H.W.LOW at first. Nana takes upon herself to go and make inquiries about it. And how does her grandmother check the truth? She goes to school, collects information and confirms on returning home that H.W.LOW'S selection for the district games is real. It is not false. How does H.W.LOW'S mother react after her grandmother verified that H.W.LOW was indeed one of her school's runners? H.W.LOW'S mother cries out in disbelief, "Is that so?" Her mouth moves as though she is going to tell Nana that after all there is a secret about H.W.LOW she cannot be expected to share with anyone. Inner hidden talent. She is happy. She is filled with disbelief. Explain briefly what all Nana did on getting the news. 1, 2, 3, 4. She had been washing H.W.LOW'S school uniform, even went to Menshaw's house and borrowed his charcoal pressing iron. Each time came back home with it, ironed the school uniform again and again. She wore stiffly starched old clothes and accompanied H.W.LOW. And why? See, this is a lengthy answer because the question is such. And why? Nana's actions are symbolic of her desire to help H.W.LOW in the sphere of education. She begins to change, perhaps inwardly, questioning her traditional mindset, and H.W.LOW'S athletic talents become a source of this. Extract 7. What was the gleaming cup? Why did she carry it on her back? H.W.LOW won the cup for the best all-round junior athlete. The trophy was the gleaming cup. And why did she carry it? She was happy and proud of H.W.LOW'S achievements. She carried it on her back, symbolizing her transformation and acceptance of the other futures available to women that expand the horizon of their existence beyond motherhood. The role of women is not just childbearing. There are other futures, other openings, other horizons as well beyond motherhood. And she realizes this. They can achieve a lot. Childbearing is a role, yes, but they can achieve other things in life as well. And finally, winning the cup is the catalyst which makes grandmother's transformation complete. With whom has the narrator compared the gleaming cup? The cup is carried by Nana on her back like they do with babies and other very precious things. And why? By carrying the trophy like a baby, Nana is symbolically replacing the baby she saw as the future of women, the reproduction, the childbearing role, with other, newer possibilities for upliftment and liberation. So instead of the traditional image of a woman with her baby, she now accepts newer possibilities symbolized by the gleaming cup. She relieves herself of the burden of patriarchy and carries a new identity symbolized by her action of carrying the cup on her back. Why did she want to show the cup to the narrator's mother? She wanted to show the cup to Mummy because she would have to give it back to the headmaster. She shared her happiness with her daughter. Mummy has been speechless as usual, so she is a subdued character. Why did the grandmother cry softly? The grandmother experienced liberation, freedom from the restrictive shackles, chains, bondage of patriarchy. She realized that she had been objectifying Aidoo, criticizing her for her thin legs, and thus she cried softly to validate the point that legs could be utilized for a number of things, not just childbearing. These are tears of remorse and guilt. Next, what does it suggest about her? This suggests that she is a dynamic character capable of change. She expresses her feelings, long pent up, long suppressed due to her ideology. Explain, how did the three women in the story feel when Aidoo won the cup? The upliftment and liberation of Aidoo becomes an intergenerational liberation. Nana is ecstatic, overjoyed, basking in the glory of Aidoo. Aidoo fights all odds, proves herself, and is happy yet confused to see the strange reactions of the grown-ups. And mother remains speechless, is less vocal, but must be glad for Aidoo. That is for sure.